in my personal opinion, I've loved the whole, the Kendricks, the Kanye's back in the before he was crazy.
Yeah, we
All
can
these
agree on that. He's nuts.
all these other people. But this is the thing where it is something that the negativity it outshines the beauty or the positivity. But why I think that is because of how you think. You don't care about the public image.
It's not true. You keep saying I don't care, but here's how you fight a public image. You put part of fighting a negative image is putting forth a positive one, right? Right?
Not the only way.
But here's the thing. If nobody ever looks at the positive image, how can you put forth a good image?
But how can you say no one does?
I'm no, but that's because what do you mean? We just talked about how we watched an entire movie, right? Full of positive images. And what's the thing that stood out? What are we having a whole discussion about?
Well, no, it's a big conversation. We still have a lot of videos.
I know. And I'm not just ragging on you, but my point is that's what people do. That's what I'm saying.
No, but I said this, right? It's about the landscape. I said it. I think if this movie came out 10, 20 years ago, I wouldn't even think about it. I wouldn't even care.
I'm telling you,
the landscape we have right now.
I'm telling you that the landscape is great Black creatives, great Black actors and artists, great contributors to our society, a Black president who wasn't involved in like any kind of scandal, right? Still got called a monkey. His wife still gets called a man, right? Here's my thing. There's so much. If you wanted to point to Black positivity, there is an endless trove of it, is what I'm saying. And yet we're still having a conversation about this lady still has the nerve to get online and talk about Black fatigue and why are Blacks so ratchet and what's wrong with their communities and why don't you go out and fix it, and doesn't see any of the positivity. That's crazy to me.
Because
crazy.
This is the thing, because it's been drowned out by constant talk about
race.
It's
drowned out by people who don't want to look at the positivity. They're the ones drowning it out. That's my point. They're the ones drowning it out. No matter how much good I do, that lady's still going to get online and complain about what she doesn't like about my race instead of minding her business. And that's going to get shared, and then more people are going to talk about it. And then all of a sudden you have a whole ton of people having this whole conversation about what's wrong with the Black community. There's problems in every community. Ours are the only ones that end up representing all of us. That's my point. I'm not saying that there aren't things to worry about, that there aren't problems, that people aren't doing bad things that need to be addressed. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that these kids on the streets should be carrying guns and being part of gangs and stealing, robbing, and shooting. But every time we see it happen, it happens in white communities, and it happens in Hispanic communities, and it happens in Asian communities. It happens. But multiple things are true.